Hello, everyone. I'm sure every single one of us has been to a buffet. And our goal is to eat as much food as we want, right? And especially those desserts. That's what I always target. Go in and target just the desserts. Well, at the very end, usually I feel so bloated and so full, and I feel so yucky because I ate so much food and especially so much sugar. So too much of that, you would think it would your goal is to go to the buffet and it's so wonderful that you're gonna eat all this food, but in the end you end up feeling sick. So really, so much of this really ends up being a negative thing. So this leads me to my quote, too much of a good thing can be wonderful. And I know my example was the opposite, but I want to explain to you how this actually is true. Too much of a good thing can be wonderful, with 3 examples of my life. In my workplace, in my relationship, and in a personal level. First off, in my workplace, too much of a good thing can be wonderful. I have 10 years of experience with being a massage therapist, and I have a lot of knowledge. I have taken additional classes for massage therapy, which have helped me improve my clients' daily lives and performance in sports, work, you name it, medical conditions. So having too much of this knowledge, I think, is a great thing because I get to help others. And second example would be in my relationship. I've been married almost 10 years, and to this day, my love for my husband keeps growing more and more. So too much of my love for him is never enough. It's so wonderful to keep having that relationship with him as my best friend and as my husband. Also, another thing, I go a little bit more into a materialistic point, is I collect makeup. I love makeup, but I don't have any, but I love the makeup. And I think having too much makeup can never be too much. I mean, I have boxes that I haven't even opened, but I still have it. So I think it's a positive thing when something makes you so happy that you keep collecting. It's a wonderful thing. So in general in life, having too much of a good thing is a wonderful thing because it makes you in general happy and it makes others around you very happy.
All right, Cristina, I like the opening story about the shared experience at the buffet that people can relate to. That works pretty well. It does end up being a little bit contradictory to the position that you're taking, but it was a nice lead-in to what the topic was, and you did have a clear statement of what your point of view is on that. There was also a pretty solid preview of what the supporting structure is going to be, so I like that. The content, I think, ends up being a little bit underdeveloped. You've got a good idea on each of these points, but you don't provide us with any stories or anecdotes. You don't turn it into something that's interesting and compelling. It's like we're getting the advanced preview of what your speech is going to be without getting, the meat of the story, the point that you're trying to make. So I think you've got the mechanics right. You just need to fill in content a little bit more. Presentation issues. I think your voice is very solid. There's lots of variety there, especially at the beginning part of the speech, so you're doing a good job there. Pacing is okay. The gestures are, they're mostly indicators. I don't notice a lot of dramatic, descriptive gestures, anything like that, so everything's satisfactory. Your eye contact seemed like it was purposeful, like you don't stare at people, but when you look at people, it's usually you're trying to make a point and get them engaged in what's going on. I did notice that you changed the orientation of your body regularly to try and stay connected with the audience. I thought that was good. I didn't think that you were pacing. I just thought that you were, like I said, sort of facing the part of the audience that you wanted to focus on at any given time. There weren't any obvious anxiety issues to be worried about. I do think your transition to the conclusion needs to be a little bit more thorough, because it's not exactly abrupt, but it feels like it is coming sooner than we expect it to be. All right, thank you.